Here are the horoscopes for the week of the 19th to the 25th of December 2016. So we are stepping into the Mercury retrograde in Capricorn, and this requires fluid thinking because Capricorn can get quite stuck. It's old winter earth, it's solid rock, so we can get quite calcified sometimes in the ways that we think. And Mercury in retrograde is here to change that, here to get us to inspect our thoughts and to see what we're bringing through. And going retrograde, that means that we take this process inwards. So to go in and to explore our thoughts, first of all we have to be able to catch them. So how often do we stop and think what we're thinking? What are we thinking? And why? Or do we let ourselves roll on that stream of consciousness, acting constantly in the immediate stream of thinking and not stopping to challenge our thoughts really? So Mercury retrograde in Capricorn is going to be a lovely phase where we can actually take a look, to stop for a while, to pause and to study our inner narrative. And this retrograde phase takes us all the way to the 8th of January, so all the way over the festive period. As I said in previous videos, the ability to listen, the ability to actually hear between the words, hear into the spaces, hear the tone of what's being said is very important, because most people's experience immediately of a retrograde phase with Mercury is that they start to receive messages from the external. So situations and people, words and phrases can come up which can trigger something inside. And it's a case of don't shoot the messenger. If somebody says something, or if you're feeling that somebody's saying something, then if it annoys you, or if it makes you angry in any way, or fearful, then maybe have a look at what it is inside you that's reacting. So we get to be our own psychologist if we can do this, if we can actually realise that we're streaming thought constantly, become the observer of our thoughts and then explore them. Because Mercury loves to explore, its inspiration, it's inquisitive. So be inquisitive with your inner narrative is the real message here, and have a look whether your thoughts are supporting you, what they're building. If you followed a thought process all the way through to the end, what would the final realization be? What would actually come into reality from that whole process? And is that what you want to build? So although many people dread the Mercury retrograde phase, it's been written about very badly, this is actually quite exciting. It's the opportunity to change. Can we approach this with awe and wonder and actually have a look at our ability to change? Because we can change our thoughts and that does change our reality. So isn't this a wonderful opportunity to make those necessary changes? If something's already been brought into the material world on the outside, then you can have a look and see, well, what thought process began that? Where was I at when I actually began to manifest this reality? And then we can see if we've built something that we don't like. First of all, we can be inquisitive enough to say, well, how can I undo this? How can I make that change? But also the good news is that we never need to build that again. We don't need to keep going round and round in circles. So when we stop ourselves from careering off point, out of direction, heading in the wrong direction, and we get to back up and realign and make sure that when we go forwards again from January, we're heading to due north, we're heading in the right direction. So when we stop and catch our thoughts, we can ask ourselves questions like, is this mine? Is it serving me? How can I change it? And the process should actually be quite playful at this point. Once we step in and take responsibility, then the rest gets easier. It's often the resistance of not taking responsibility, with the repressed fear inside, not wanting to face things, that is actually more, it's gnawing us up on the inside, and it's adding to that fear and that out of control feeling. So Mercury and Capricorn, take control, take responsibility. Catch your thoughts. If you stop long enough, maybe have a process every day where you actually say, what am I thinking? And then go in and explore, really, make those necessary inner recalibrations. So all the way through the festive period, right up until the 8th of January, we have this Mercury retrograde phase. You may want to look back to the 2nd of December, because that's when Mercury went into Capricorn, and that was phase 1 from the 2nd of December to the 19th of December, phase 1 may have given you clues. You may have seen the first awareness of where this lesson is heading, because the first phase brings things to awareness, and those are the things that we want to then go and recalibrate in the second phase, which, like I say, is the 19th of December to the 8th of January. So when we trace the story in its 3 phases, forwards, backwards and forwards again, we can see where this is actually happening for us, because this will be happening for different people in different places in their chart. So it could be all around work, or it could be all around relationships or self-worth or self-image, depending on where that falls in your chart. So to work actively with current astrology, we need to know our chart, know where this is happening, and then go in and explore that sector. There may be some recognition of this time last year, because we began the year with Mercury in Capricorn and went retrograde on the 6th of January. So there may be a recollection or a similarity, a kind of time shadow of what was going on at the end of 2015 and what was brought up for recalibration at that point too, at the beginning of 2016. Because as the Mercury retrogrades happen in different signs in different places, we won't get this one again for quite a while. So we may as well go in and do the work. It's like cleaning one room of your house at a time. If you just do one room at the right time, you end up with a natural order, rather than refusing to do something or running away, in which case things can kind of get dustier and dirtier and more confused and require more work next time round. And by Tuesday we've got Mars going into Pisces. So this is actually at quite a good harmonic. Mars in Pisces isn't a natural combination that you would normally see with fire and water, and yet it's very spiritual, because Mars isn't just the warrior, it's the spiritual warrior. And Pisces is the etheric waters. It's the 95% that we don't see with our 5 senses. So this is going into the realms of intuition. This is going into our spirituality. This is going into past lives, a multi-lifetime perspective, and actually being able to feel into the cells of our body and relight the fire within. So as we stop to listen between the words, we're also stopping to walk between the worlds with this Mars in Pisces, and this combination will mean that we can trust our intuition, we can hone our intuition, and we can actually start to feel rather than to think and do as our prime response to anything. To feel into is going to be the key. Can actually tell a lot once we stop relying on just that 5% and go into our greater knowing. So it's actually a very lovely and soulful aspect if we can be still, tune in and get over the superficial representation that we have of our world and into our inner world, where our knowing, our emotional compass, can actually guide us with a much bigger perspective than just reacting to what seems to be going on the outside. This also works well with the retrograde, because Mars going into Pisces will help us find the motivation of our emotions, our dreams, of our desires. So when we go in and we reconnect to our desire, to our motivation, to what excites us, to what really fuels us, then that is a lovely feeling. That's going back to the heart of something and reconnecting with the vital energy within it, rather than just maybe producing or just working or just functioning in a linear fashion. Go all the way back, reconnect with why it was that you wanted to do something in the first place, or with what's at the heart of that feeling. So those are 2 very inner exploratory aspects that are coming in this week, which does make this festive period seem like quite a soulful one and quite an insular one. Lots of listening, lots of feeling, and not so much outer reactive behaviour. Adding to this, we then come into the winter solstice, and the winter solstice is from the 21st to the 23rd of December. It's a 3-day event like any solstice or equinox, and the first day is all about letting go. These are the darkest days of the year. The sun rises and sets for 3 days at seemingly the same place in the sky. Minimum arc across the sky in the northern hemisphere, which means that we have the longest nights and the shortest days. So with a 3-day event, we always release first. So as the sun goes into Capricorn, it does bring a certain sense of sobriety and a certain sense of stillness, and we can actually stop for a while. It seems bizarre because it's probably going to be quite a busy end of the week as people are running around with their festive preparations, but this is actually quite a solid and still aspect that we have on Wednesday as the sun goes into Capricorn as well as Mercury, and we're starting to go into the darkest nights. This 3-day event of release first and then purify and then hold the space for new energy to come in. Those are the 3 days, but Wednesday is the releasing. So it's quite good with the Mercury retrograde in Capricorn. We should be able to see what we want to release. And with the Mars in Pisces, we should be able to feel and go inwards and get to the pure, solid, energetic point of what we do want to create. Maybe release any emotional and psychological baggage that is built up around our goals and desires and our essence. So how do we let go? I think the first thing we need to do is realise, so to go back and to actually view what it is that we've outgrown. And by doing the process of asking, is it mine, is it serving me, then letting go of anything that we've picked up that wasn't ours along the way, any programming. And that can be from the current society, that can be from our roots and family, or that could even be from our own childhood. So what is it that's not serving us anymore? What is it that we'd like to release? And then the key to releasing, I feel, is gratitude, because a lot of people just kind of have this get off me, disgusted kind of feel to letting go of things. And yet everything we've experienced has been drawn to us by us and taught us a lesson. So there's a tangible feeling of being pulled backwards to look back right over the year that was 2016, right back to the Mercury retrograde in Capricorn that brought us into this year, and to have a look at what we've learnt and with gratitude what we're ready to leave behind. Then by Thursday we have a lovely energetic, which is Saturn trine Uranus on the pause day of the year. So we're literally in the darkest day of the year, and Saturn trine Uranus teaches us where our structure is and where we need to break down that structure and actually bring in something new, something vibrant and a new vision. So maybe spend Thursday having a look at what is that vision. As we're busy getting rid of what doesn't serve us, what do we want to bring in that does serve us, and reconnect with our vision and our excitement. Then by Friday we're in the purification day, so we've let go, we've held the space, and we still have the opportunity, while the world pauses at this sacred time. It was celebrated as the day out of time, the rebirth of the sun. As from tomorrow the sun starts to visibly increase its arc across the sky, which means the daylight hours start to increase and the sun is reborn, then this is an opportunity for us then to have this rebirth as well, to truly let go of anything that's served its purpose and to truly embrace the new vision that we want to step forward with. So by the weekend we have the Christmas festivities, and this is the new year really. This is the winter solstice. The sun is reborn with bright new vision and with freedom and with excitement to go forwards. We have a midwinter feast and sharing and joy and togetherness, the nourishment of the heart and the soul, the gratitude for where we've come from, but also the strength to step forward in our independent individuality and create the new year. That's all around us for the weekend. So those are the horoscopes for this week, and I'll see you next week. If you'd like to see where this energy is happening for you, then that's what an astrological reading is really, how you can engage with your own vibrational signature, which is your birth chart, but then actually see what's going on and where and how you can work with it at the moment. So I am available for readings on Skype or in person. If you'd like to study astrology, then there's a number of ways to do that. I have a whole series of online courses and an online membership group where we're discussing topics as they arise and the surrounding areas of the esoterics of astrology. I've created a special Zodiac pack, one for each sign, which is a information PDF. So that's now available with vouchers as well as a gift. And that shows you how to work with your crystals, with your herbs, how to calculate your moon sign and your power dates, and the alternative symbology of your sign, including power animals and your Celtic tree. And as well as one-to-one readings, I'm now offering written charts where you'll get your chart graphic, where all the planets are when you were born, and a write-up of each planet in each sign. So that's something new that I've added to my offering this week. Vouchers are available for all of these and any other of the products on my website, so if you're interested in any of this, please do contact me, zoehines7@gmail.com.